Ladies and gentlemen, I think I have actually discovered one of the worst games ever made. Not only is this one of the worst indie horror games ever made, but this is one of the worst games ever made in general. Not only does this game do exactly what makes a game bad, but it does it worst. This is the worst of the worst. This is the opposite of a game. If boredom and misery was a game, it would be this one. And it would have this name. This game is terrible. Like, honestly, like, I've played a lot of bad indie horror games, man. Like, I've been playing indie horror games since indie horror games were even a thing. And honestly, this is actually one of the worst indie horror games I have ever played. I would actually be both surprised and even more depressed than I already am if I actually found an indie horror game that is worse than this one because this game is just terrible, honestly. If this game was a CD, I would stick it up my ass and then shit it out in the toilet bowl so I could pretend it was actually just a gigantic piece of shit that came out of my ass because that is exactly what this game is. This game is a gigantic piece of shit in the form of a game. It is sad that people actually brought this shit. It is sad that I brought this shit. My life is already sad and I actually spent $10 on this shit. I could have used that for charity. I could have gave that to the poor kids in Africa who are starving. Hell, either that I could have brought myself a nutritious breakfast from McDonald's. So it is sad that people actually spent money on this game. But honestly, even if this game was free, the developers should pay you $10 to play this game because of actually how bad and horrible this game actually is. Like, seriously, like, okay, let's talk about this, okay? Because it may sound like I'm exaggerating here. So, how is this game so shit? Okay, in this game, you literally, though, literally, I'm not even exaggerating. 100% of the time, you literally just hold the stick. You literally just hold L on the controller. That's because this game is a fucking L. This game is bigger than an L. Holy shit. Anyways, you just hold L. You just hold L on your controller and you just walk. This game is 100% just walking. There is literally no other gameplay elements in this whole game. You literally just walk around. That's it. This is actually worse than your typical trashy indie horror game because usually some indie horror devs try and copy some of the things that made other horror games good, like, Amnesia's puzzles or the chase sequences from Outlast. Like, usually indie devs try and, copy those elements, But the developers of this game couldn't even be bothered to do that. There's no shitty puzzles and there's no lackluster chase sequences. I would have much rather preferred something rather than nothing because that's literally all this game is. You literally just walk around. That is literally this whole game. This game is about as boring as watching two goldfish fuck each other. Like, seriously, like, how could this be any worse? Okay, there's not even a sprint button. There is not even a sprint button. If stage 4 cancer was in the form of a game, it would be this. This game is everything that I would never want to put myself through while also already being mentally ill. This game actually made me want to kill myself. This game actually wanted to make me go to Antarctica while naked, holding a sign that says, "Please take a knife and shove it all the way up my ass and then cut off my balls and feed it to an orca." Like, seriously, this game is just horrible. This is actually one of the worst games ever made. Like, everyone says it's Superman 64. Bro, at least Superman 64, at least you actually do something besides just walking around. This game has absolutely nothing. This game is literally cancer. This game should literally be called Stage 4 Cancer Simulator, Stage 4 Cancer in Your Brain Simulator. This game actually made me want to kill myself. I have never felt more depressed in my life, but when I played this game was both a bad and a good experience because this game made me realize that maybe my life actually isn't so bad because my life could be way worse if I played games like this. If there is actually other games like this, like this piece of shit that actually exists, then honestly, man, that is extremely sad. That's more sad than any of the tragedies that happened in the United States. 9/11, who gives a shit? Games like this exist. And they actually ask you to pay for it. $10. $10 they ask you to pay for this game. They should pay me to play this game. They should pay me for making this review. But honestly, do not play this game, ladies and gentlemen. If this review was not enough to convince you, I will go more. So not only do you just walk around in this game, and there's not even a sprint button, even like, honestly, even the setting of this game is just literally trash. You literally just walk around a 2-floor apartment building that is filled with drug addicts. And you play as like a janitor or something, I don't know, and you literally just walk inside of these drug addicts' apartment buildings and just mess with their shit. But then you see something scary inside of their apartment, but that's because your character is also on drugs and is most likely experiencing stimulant psychosis. So, the scary things that you're seeing in this game is literally just a result of your character also being a drug addict who is living among other drug addicts in an extremely condemned apartment building. Like, that's literally this whole game. And not only that, but not only is the gameplay just horrible, but the scares in this game are also just fucking terrible. Like, I think I have seen a better attempt at horror from 12-year-olds. This game's scares are absolutely dog shit. And you want to know the thing that actually both surprises me and disappoints me even more? This game is lacking even in the cliches that indie horror devs make. There's not even any jump scares in this game, except for one at the very beginning, but that's it. There's not even any jump scares. There's no stupid puzzles. There's no lackluster chase sequences from monsters that aren't even scary, and there's not even any jump scares. This game is literally just walking around. That is literally all you do in this game, is you just walk around. Like, I think taking actual drugs would be a more pleasant experience than this game. And I think taking acid would actually be a more frightening trip than this game. This was the least frightened I have ever been playing a game, and the game is literally called Frightened. This is the least frightened I've ever been. Honestly, like, for real, I think taking actual acid or flocka or weed is actually good. Like, taking weed, if you have $10, try and spend that $10 on some weed, because if you want to go on like a fun drug trip, it is way better than this game. Anything is better than the experience of this game. Not only is the game literally just 100% walking around, but the game also runs like crap on console. I don't even want to know how this shit runs on PC, but even while you're walking, the frames are just dropping. The frames are dropping more than my brain cells were playing this game. Like, honestly, this is fucking terrible. And back to the scares. This game's scares are absolutely terrible. Like, this is some of the worst attempts at horror I have ever seen. The game literally expects you to be afraid of these, like, weird fucking kids wearing these animal masks. It kind of reminded me, like, something out of Pet Sematary, but just, my god. The deformed children from Africa are more scarier than the kids in this game. Like, seriously. This game is about as frightening as having diarrhea while being in traffic. So this game is absolutely terrible. Like, this is legit one of the absolute worst games I have ever played. If you are actually bored and expect this game to cure it, do not. This game will take your boredom and turn it into crippling depression. It will take your boredom and it'll actually make you want to kill myself. I literally just said I want to go to Antarctica naked and have someone cut my balls off and feed it to an orca. Like, seriously, like, this game is absolutely terrible, okay? And not only that, but, you know, thankfully the game is also very short. I have had headaches that were longer than this game, but this game was worser than the headaches I get, but thankfully it was just as short as the shits that I take at 2 a.m. So, honestly, this game is just terrible. Like, this is one of the worst games ever made. One of the worst games ever made in general. Do not play this game. Do not spend the $10 on this game. Honestly, either spend that $10 for charity, I don't know, give it to children who are struggling, or just buy yourself a very nutritious meal from McDonald's or something. Just do not spend the money on this game. That money could be spent on things that aren't even games, like food or something. So don't buy this game, okay? Do not buy this game. This is one of the worst indie horror games and one of the worst games ever made in general. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this review. Stay away from this game, and I will see you guys in the next video. I'll see you guys in the next time. Take care, y'all.